Once again, Ethereum is doing exactly what it did before its last explosive rally. History is beautifully repeating itself. Ethereum has been breaking down below previous lows, just like it did before every major leg higher in the past. And right now, it's setting up one of the most bullish structures we've seen this entire cycle. A textbook bull flag pattern forming right after the FOMC meeting, combined with a perfect liquidity grab and a retest of major support. So in today's video, we're going to break it all down. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with my trades, my current game plan, what I expect next, and why I believe we are extremely close to Ethereum's next explosive leg higher. Also, very quickly before we dive in, Weeks has just launched a massive 100% deposit bonus campaign. Whatever you deposit, they will match with a free Ethereum trade. It's one of the best deals I've seen this cycle, and I'll explain more about it later in the video. But first, let's dive into the charts. Ethereum's history repeating itself. Ethereum's history is once again repeating itself almost perfectly. On the shorter time frames, ETH has been dropping below previous lows, and as expected, people are starting to panic. It's the same story we've seen over and over again. We saw it here and here. Every single time, the same thing happened. Ethereum swept liquidity below the previous lows, sentiment flipped extremely bearish, and right after that, the trend reversed violently back to the upside. This is a classic market maker move, shaking out weak hands and triggering stop losses before the next leg higher. And right now, Ethereum is doing the exact same thing again. We've built a strong base of support around the 4.2K level. During the most recent drop, ETH briefly fell below that support, triggering panic. Everyone suddenly started calling for 3.8K, then 3.5K, and some even for 3.3K. I've even seen people claiming this is the top of the bull market and that we're about to enter a bear phase. But in reality, this is exactly what happens before every major reversal. It's a textbook liquidity grab, just like we saw in August, just like we saw in June. And that's why I'm actually extremely excited about what's happening right now. The price action for Ethereum has been nothing short of beautiful. I've been accumulating ETH heavily at the bottom of every major dip. I've been right multiple times. I started long positions aggressively around the 2.1K level and have stayed extremely bullish ever since. I've also been calling for Ethereum to reach $10,000 this cycle, and I still believe that's absolutely on the table. 1 month ago, I said, this is your last chance, when Ethereum was trading around 3.7K, and again, that was the local bottom. Now, I'm flipping extremely bullish once again. Why? Because we're currently retesting previous resistance as new support. And this is one of the most powerful bullish signals you can get in technical analysis. ETH was rejected exactly at the previous all-time high. Now we've come back down, and that level is acting as support. This is classic market structure. Resistance flips into support, then the next leg higher begins. We saw it here, and we saw it here. At the moment, ETH is consolidating between two key levels, the old all-time high resistance now acting as support, and a new resistance forming above. During this consolidation, we've grabbed liquidity below the lows, which is exactly what you want to see before a breakout, and we're forming a beautiful bull flag pattern, the bull flag setup. This bull flag is one of the most bullish patterns you can get in a bull market. We're retesting previous resistance as support, consolidating tightly, and building momentum for the next breakout. Every time this happens, the result is the same, a powerful breakout to the upside, but it gets even better. If you look closely, every time we've had an FOMC meeting during this cycle, the same thing has happened. First, we get a dump immediately after the meeting. That's exactly what happened last week. But then, every single time, that dump was the final shakeout before a major rally. This time is no different. We got the FOMC dump. We got the liquidity grab. We got the bull flag. And we're retesting previous resistance as support. All of this together is the perfect recipe for Ethereum to start its next major leg higher. Now let's talk about another important signal, the EMA Ribbons. On the daily time frame, back in June, Ethereum fell below the EMA Ribbons. And what happened next? A massive reversal to the upside. Now, after a long consolidation, we've fallen below the daily EMA ribbons again. Historically, this has always been a bullish signal, a sign that the market is shaking out weak hands before resuming the uptrend. This makes me even more confident that we're close to the next leg up. We can't just look at Ethereum against the US dollar. We also need to pay attention to ETH against Bitcoin, because the ultimate goal is not to accumulate fiat, but to accumulate more Bitcoin. And here too, the chart looks very bullish. Each time Ethereum forms a long consolidation against Bitcoin, it eventually breaks out strongly to the upside. We saw it here, we saw it here. Now we're in a slightly longer consolidation phase, forming a descending resistance and holding equal support, exactly at a previous resistance level that's now flipping into support. I expect a bounce from here, followed by a move up to the next resistance, which is about 20% higher from current levels. Overall, ETH/BTC still looks very bullish. We're in a classic markup phase. We've bottomed out and now the trend is shifting upwards. As long as this structure holds, I expect Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin for the remainder of this bull market. Quick reminder for those who actually want to trade this setup. If you want to claim the 100% deposit bonus on Weeks, you must sign up using the link in the description. That's the only way to unlock the promotion. And right now, there's also a special deposit bonus of up to $30,000 available, meaning if you fund your account, Weeks will literally match it with free trading capital. It's one of the biggest offers on any exchange, and it can give you a serious edge going into this next Ethereum leg higher. It's not just retail traders getting ready. Large institutions and funds are still accumulating Ethereum aggressively. They're not selling, they're not panicking, they're preparing for higher prices, and so am I. Yes, September has historically been a weaker month, and this year is no exception. But once again, I believe the pullback is only temporary. The bull market is far from over. I do not believe the top is in. I do not believe the short-term liquidity grab above the previous all-time high signals the start of a bear market. My conservative targets for this cycle are still 5K, 6K, and 7K. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 8K, 9K, or even 10K Ethereum before the cycle ends. Of course, everything depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin completely loses structure and enters a bear market, then Ethereum will follow. But that's not my base case. Global liquidity is still rising. The stock market is still printing new highs. Bitcoin and Ethereum have simply been lagging behind. And if you look back at the 2017 cycle, Ethereum's setup today looks almost identical to what it did back then, right before one of the biggest rallies in crypto history. Let's also take a quick look at Total 3, the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. This chart is important because it shows us where the broader altcoin market is heading. And right now, even though we're seeing a short-term pullback, the long-term trend is still extremely bullish. Once Ethereum resumes its rally, and I believe that's inevitable, the total altcoin market will follow. Altcoins will explode again, just like they always do when Ethereum leads the way. Remember, this is a game of patience. It's a game of conviction. Most people panic right before the biggest moves happen. But if you zoom out, history is telling us exactly what's coming next. So don't fade Ethereum now. The setup is too perfect, the opportunity is too big, and the market conditions are aligning just like they did before every explosive rally in the past. And once again, if you want to take advantage of this setup yourself, sign up with the link in the description to secure your 100% deposit bonus and up to $30,000 in free trading capital on Weeks. It's an insane offer for active traders, and it won't last forever. Ethereum is setting up for something massive. I'm ready for it, and I hope you are too.